Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I'm an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make videos here on my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you would like to know more about my designs, please check in the description below, and there you will find a link to my Ravelry designer page where you will find pictures of all the things that I've designed, and if you like, you can get a PDF version of the instructions so that you can knit it up for yourself. If you do decide to knit one of my patterns, I would absolutely love to hear about it. You can either talk to me in the comments below about what you're planning, and I'd love to hear about it, or you can also find in the description below a link to my Facebook Watch Barbara Knit group, where it's a closed group, but if you ask to join it, I'll be happy to approve you, and there we can share pictures and talk about knitting and all that kind of fun stuff. We just thought we would give something a little different try because the YouTube comments aren't that interactive. I try my best to respond, and I love it when people comment on the YouTubes, but if you're more comfortable with Facebook, you can go on over to Facebook. Also down in there, you will find a link to my newsletter. I send out a monthly newsletter on the first Thursday of every month, telling you what kind of cool things happened in the previous month and what might be coming up in the same month. And when I release new patterns, I also send out exclusive discounts. So if you like newsletters, sign up for that. So that's all the crazy stuff we start with. Today, we have a Fave 5 video. What the Fave 5 videos are is me getting to spend some time playing on Ravelry is pretty much the motivation. I love looking at all the pretty things on Ravelry, and what I do is I come up with a theme and go through and pick the top 5 things that are jumping out at me under that theme at that moment. I am not saying that this is the best ones that ever existed, and I'm just saying that this is something that struck my fancy. This is something that I like, and I wanted to share with you guys because you might like it. And this month's theme is my favorite 5 patterns to knit during the summer. I thought it was logical. It's June, summer is kicking off, and sometimes it's hard to motivate to knit during the summer. Some people feel like it's too hot to knit during the summer. I mean, and I can totally understand who wants to be laying under like 80 pounds of wool knitting an Afghan, but there are all kinds of wonderful things that you can knit during the summer. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to stop knitting during the summer. So I went and I picked out some things that I thought would be fun to both knit and possibly wear during this, or use, makes you wonder, during the summer. And what I will do is I will pop up a picture, and I think it'll be right here, of the thing I'm talking about, and I'll describe it for you, and then you will be able to check in the links below in the description notes, and you will find a link to the Ravelry page where you can get the pattern or other information on how to get the pattern and the name of the designer and credits for all the photographs. I thank all of the designers for allowing me to use this on my little YouTube channel, and I just love looking at other designers' stuff because it's so very inspiring, and you know, it's just a lot of fun. So let's start ourselves off with, look at this. I think this is pronounced Avelina, and it is by Triona Murphy. And I think that this looks like an absolutely wonderful piece to wear during the summer, and it would make a great summer knit. It's not going to be a whole lot of fabric laying in your lap, and it doesn't look like it's going to take too much brain power. If you look closely at it, you will see that pretty much the whole thing is done in reverse stockinette, which you might be like, oh my god, that's a lot of purling. But I read the description notes on this, and sneaky Triona says that pretty much the entire top is worked inside out, which I think is absolutely brilliant. You get all of the beauty of reverse stockinette, because I think reverse stockinette can look really super cool, and you don't have to do 8 billion yards of purling, because I don't think, I mean, I do know that there's some people who prefer purling, and I guess you could just do it normally, but most knitters I know, purling is not their favorite thing to do. You can see it's got lovely detail. I love a V-neck. and the strapless, the sleeveless of it is something that also made me think that it sings summer. It's in sport weight. So that it means it's going to knit up a little bit faster, and I'm looking at the notes on it, and it says that the neckband is worked as you are knitting the body, so the only seaming on it is at the shoulders. So I think this would be super fast to knit, and I love the little details. You got to go look at it. It's got some just little cable details, and I just think it's beautiful. So this is Avelina by Triona Murphy. And next, we are going to look at socks. So I think socks are the perfect, I know people who knit socks year round, and I totally understand that. But I think socks are a perfect summer project. These are Unfurling Leaves by Fatima Hines. And it's a gradient sock pattern, which I think is super duper cool. And it's just got these delicate lace going up the front. I checked on it. It is a toe up, and it has an afterthought heel, which I love an afterthought heel. You don't have to worry about any short rows, and you don't have to worry about anything crazy. You just slide it in afterwards, and you can get it exactly where you want. What is really beautiful about these is how she has used the gradient in this. This is in Sweet Georgia yarn, and she has they have the Party of 5 sock set, so where you have 5 mini skeins. And what you would do to get your socks to match like this is when you're rolling them up, what you would do is go ahead and divide each mini skein into 2 even minier skeins. So you got mini skeins, and then you can make sure you have enough colors for each one. I'm sure she goes into detail about this in the pattern, and I chose the best picture to show you guys, but one thing you can't see, and I really encourage you to go in the description below and click through, is it does this really cool thing. So it goes from the dark all the way to light, but then at the top in the ribbing, it goes through another tiny little gradient back to dark, and it's just like a little tiny green rainbow, and it's really beautiful. And I think these would be a lot of fun to knit, as a summer project. And let's see, the next thing I want to show you is this. I'm going to pronounce this Goblin. I have no idea if that is pronounced correctly. And this is by Faina Goberstein. Again, I hope I pronounced that right. Who knows? And as I was thinking about summer knits, I was thinking a bag. A bag would be a fabulous thing to knit in the summer. Look at this one. It is absolutely amazing. It has something that is, near and dear to my heart. Slip stitches, but this is slip stitches the way I've never knit them before. And I think this would be a really fun project to learn how to do this amazing technique. And I do want to share that this is found in The Art of Slip Stitch Knitting, which is a book that I own, as you can see. And I wanted to show you a few more pictures of this. She knits it on a very dense gauge so that it's a nice, tight, weavy kind of situation. So, your bag is going to be really good. And I want to show, so she's got a picture of the bottom of the bag. So it's oval and it's nice and solid, and there's the cool color work. And she also has instructions on how to line it. And I think that this would be an amazing summer project to do over the summer. And then you could use the bag year round. I think it is amazing. It calls for, let me see, how many different colors? It looks super colorful, but it's only 4 colors. So you got A, B, C, and D. That is really cool. I just think it is a super neat, and it's got all this interesting texture. The yarn that they used is a worsted weight, and she used Haiku Simply Worsted, a superwash. So that is cool. But I really actually want to knit more bags and more garment things you don't wear. I really enjoyed making the market bag for my book, and I made a pillow for my book, and this idea of making things that aren't things that you wear, I think is a great deal of fun. And I think that this bag would be an amazing thing to knit during the summer. Next up, we have more feet stuff. Now, these are not socks again. These are slippers. And I think that I need about, a dozen. I think a dozen would be a good number to get this. But I think this would make great summer knitting because not only does it look like it's going to work up fairly fast, but I am betting you could definitely make these out of sock yarn scraps. And don't we all have a whole bunch of fingering weight scraps? So having these and just being able to knock them up, carry them around in your little project bag, and by the end of the summer, you could probably have, a couple pairs done. These are called Saki Light, and they are by Nellknits. And I do want to mention that this is a fingering weight version of her original. Call them Saki, S-A-K-I slippers, and they're just Saki slippers. And those she did in worsted weight, so they're heavier. So there are two patterns here. If you look in the descriptions below, you can just go to Nellknits and find both of them. But I was particularly drawn for summer knit to the lightweight ones because of the aforementioned using up scraps and that it's fingering weight and it'd be easy to carry around. And worsted weight, I think worsted weight would be great for the winter, but for the summer, I'm thinking little light Saki things. You can wear them with clogs. I just really like them, and I think they're super cute. And on Ravelry, the original Saki slippers, there are a bunch of projects, and there are a bunch of projects of the fingering weight version too. So obviously a lot of people have made them, and that tells me that it is probably a really great pattern from Nellknits. And I think that these are super fun. Now, we've got one more. I'm up to number 5. And I bet you're going, Barbara, where are the shawls? What's going on? Shawls are summer knitting. And so, of course, I've got a shawl for you. I was trying to stay away from shawls because I was trying to, shake things up with different things other than shawls that you can knit during the summer. Of course, I'll probably knit at least 3 shawls this summer, but there are other things you can do. But it gave me the opportunity to include this pattern, which has been out. It came out in 2013, and the instant it came out, I fell absolutely in love with it. And it is just it's a beautiful piece, and I think that it looks like it'd be a lot of fun to knit and a lot of fun to wear. And it's called Lichen or Lichen. I'm not sure pronouncing. It's not my strong suit. By Larissa Brown. And the way that the shape of this is just, it looks like so much fun. It's got this drape to it and this movement to it and the little rows of yarn overs. It just looks like an incredibly wonderful and addicting knit. It looks like it's designed, let me check. The instructions include Aran weight, DK weight, and heavy fingering. So you can either do it in a heavier weight or a lighter weight. Looking at the projects that have been done, let me see. I'm going to click on the yarn ideas. Do you guys know about the yarn ideas tab? It's really cool. On Ravelry, if you're on a pattern page, up in the tabs on the top, there's one that says yarn ideas. And if you click on that, you can see what other people have successfully knit or at least put up a pattern project page that they did it. So looks like we've got Madeline Tosh Chunky is the biggest one. Nick Picks Chroma, Worsted, Chunky. What have we got here? Looks like DK is mostly, but I'm thinking we've got a wide variety. Smooshy's fingering weight. Several fingering. So it looks like that this pattern will work up in just about any gauge yarn that you want to knit it in. You're just going to need to do a little finagling. But I think this would be a beautiful thing to knit on all summer. And another reason why I thought, so when you're knitting shawls, the whole idea, what we said earlier, you don't want to be laying under a giant Afghan. Well, when you're knitting shawls, you get to that point where you're like at the end and you have like 300 stitches on the needle and you're like, oh my gosh, the construction of this one looks like you never have more than about this many stitches on the needle. And I think that would make for a really good summer project. So that's Lichen by Larissa Brown. And of course, when I have one that I feel like I could throw in, I do. And I wanted to show you guys, I think you've seen this before. This is from my book, Mosaic and Lace Knits, but I thought this one was really appropriate. This is the Lacy Pinstripe Cowlette, and it is color work in a cotton linen blend. This is Lindy Chain from Knit Picks, and the idea of doing color work in the summer, people are like, oh, it's too hot to do, but not this. This color work is lacy color work, and it's cotton and it's linen. And the way this is structured is you knit it flat and then you join it and knit it to round to make this, to make a cowlette that you just stick on and you don't have to fuss with and you don't have to style. And I think it will be great for all seasons. And I think it will work perfect in the spring and the summer. And I think it would be perfect summer knitting. I'm going to take it back off and show to it. And there are multiple videos on this, and I think I might be making one more about how to join it in the round. I made up a kind of funky fake picot bind off here, and I wanted to show you guys this. So that is my contribution to the what you might want to knit this summer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click that like button. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel and select notifications. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.